and we are looking at general election next year again on this program this morning. We can never get tired of talking about the election. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about it almost every week before the elections come next year. This morning, we are looking at next year's general elections and the hope of a new Nigeria. Is next year going to actually provide a new hope? Will it be a new dawn for Nigeria? If you look at the field of those that are contesting, especially the presidential seat, it's a major one between the two leading political parties, PDP and APC. But there is also Labour Party. Peter Obi is talking tough, is talking confidently, is looking like someone who could give Tinubu and Atiku a run for their money. But again, the choices are in the hands of Nigerians. Will Nigerians vote for Tinubu, Atiku, or Obi? We'll get to see that next year. But for us, we want to look at the possibilities of Nigeria, having a new hope, a new dawn from next year's election. We have in the studio with us this morning the National Secretary of Campaign for Defense of Human Rights, Comrade Yinka Folarin. Comrade Folarin, good morning.
Good morning, and good morning, our viewers from all over the places.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we also have a public affairs analyst, Mr. Abaram Babalola. Mr. Babalola, good morning.
Good morning, Nigerians. It's nice being here this morning.
Let's start from the Ekiti election, but that's the freshest. We saw that on Saturday, and the results came out yesterday. But again, there are discontent. Segun Obi, the SDP candidate, is contesting the results of the election. Some people say that's normal, but is it abnormal for Segun to contest results? Let's start with Mr. Wala.
Let me start on this light note. It's like Biodun Alabi, you stay so much on social media these days, and you have caught the frenzy of the Obi frenzy. That's why you are saying Segun Obi. So that is the election in Ekiti has come and gone, and of course I expect that there will be reactions here and there. I never expected PDP or the SDP to just go ahead and say congratulations to the winner. That is what we are used to. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next few days if you hear that we are going to court. Let's meet in court. But it's like, if we are to look at the Ekiti template, I am not sure we are ready for the change that we have been talking about. I went through the registered number of voters Ekiti State has. It's 989,000 plus. And out of that 900 plus, almost a million, you had like 340 or 360 as accredited. It means that we still have less than 40% coming out to vote. This is a state where we believe that they are knowledgeable, and we have a lot of elites in that state. We equally have a good number of youth in that state. Now, Ekiti State is a state that is more of a civil service state, where private organizations are not that in large number. It means that you have this large number of youths that are not doing anything. And I expect that, let us be part of this exercise. Probably we'll have a better tomorrow. But what we saw over the weekend was a large number of old people coming out to vote. I even saw a video where young guys were on the streets playing football. And the few youths that were out there, you see them collecting money, displaying 8,000, displaying 10,000 naira they collected from politicians. Come 2023, if this template is to be the same template we are working on, the desired change is still a long way to what we are going to achieve.
He mentioned youths, and I'm trying to, remember what Karl Marx, said in some of his postulations. He actually spoke about religion as the opium of the masses, and he also spoke about the youths being the industrial army of a particular nation. When you say industrial army, it means that they come in huge number to actually determine the fate of a particular country. Now, are you also worried that, apart from the fact that youths are always told to come out, youths that are within the range of the ages that are allowed to vote, don't you also get worried about their perception of why do I need to vote? Who do I need to vote for? Isn't that a big problem for us?
Well, thank you very much. Sincerely, it is a very pathetic situation. But at the same time, I don't want to justify. I don't want to justify the unjustifiable situation. One would have expected that the youth participation should be en masse, and not forgetting too quick that
will be affected. But we missed the golden opportunity when our youth, including, was successful. Everybody applauded the organization, the way logistics were handled, the way money was handled. Everybody applauded it. And I was thinking that if our youth can be disorganized, can be disfocused, the older generations that are holding on to power now will have to think twice. Unfortunately, some months or a few months after the protest, there was local government election in Lagos State, and the participation was poor. At that point in time, I started to believe that what happened in October 2020 was just a jamboree. And now we are seeing the reality on ground. One of the things I saw in that Ekiti election was the old people that are coming out to vote. And I do not pray that the younger generation now will not fall into that trap. And what is that trap? This old generation, especially a lot of them are pensioners now. They live on the stipends that these few, not all the governors, that these few governors pay them. They have gotten to a stage where they believe that there is no other hope for them again. So they live on this pension because they felt that there is no way they can change anything again. The youthful generation now can take up that challenge, that we won't wait until we retire. We won't wait until pensions will start coming in stipends.
Okay, let's also look at, another school of thought about this demography of voters that you described right now. Some people are saying that it is not that it is because they are pensioners and all that. It is because of the foundation or probably the kind of education they get about participation in a democracy, as at the time the country was put together, how many years ago now. So I don't know if it is more, Mr. Falan, I don't know if you see it more like because they are pensioners, they needed stipend to be fed, or the education, the reason for them to participate, they know the pros and the cons of not participating in an election, so that we can build on that and improve.
Well, if democracy is to be practiced the way it is usually defined, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, the older generation in Ekiti and in some other states, I want to say they found it good and well. They experienced it so well and good, and their hope is still so much rekindled. They are still having so much hope in the country that, if we are not doing this for any reason, let us do it for our own children. Let us participate. Well, I want to go with that school of thought and say it is because of their education, because of their exposure as at the time things were being put together. But for the youth as well, even if they were not there when the whole thing started, we read it in school, and we are also seeing it being practiced all over. We can only encourage the youth that come. You cannot, despite saying everything that, there are reasons to say, we are giving up on this country. Well, the same generation that have been participating in 1993, when they were talking about the two major parties, we went back to 1993 election. Even there are images that will show you that, this were the same 1993 to this time. You know what it means? And then you want the youth to believe, it is your country. You're talking about George, you're talking about other youth in other countries that are driving things, but the platform is actually not given to them. I just said something. We would have appreciated this, the incumbent administration more if the not too young to run bill that was passed into law is actually being followed up. But what did we see? It is very, very unfortunate that we don't live by what we preach. And the youth are actually feeling, they are feeling deprived, they are feeling cajoled, bamboozled by the ruling class presently. There's not much seriousness. We must be sincere with ourselves. But at the same time, that should not be enough to lose focus. He talked about the NSAS panel, which should have been a platform to take off from. But I will tell you sincerely that it went beyond the NSAS panel. Even the ruling class were part of the process. They were part of it to say we want to persuade the people not to do this, not to do that.
They were sending their children too.
Yeah, they were sending their children, and they said
so if
they
we
were
are
part of the
retiring
jamboree.
us, we would actually, allow
they were part
children
of
to be part of it.
So they were part of the jamboree, and the aftermath of that of the NSAS. Do you know that some of the youth are not even living freely now? Some of them have run out of the country for fear of being victimized and the likes. And at the end of the day, it still boils down to the same. Every of these big political parties, they have youth also in there.
Let's come back. Sorry, please.
Yeah.
This idea of the two major political parties that we are talking about and the third force. The last time I checked, INEC told us that we have more than two political parties. If you feel that the amount being charged by these two major political parties is on the high side
To contest.
why can't you adopt any of these other parties? You see, when we continue to give ourselves the
But there's
excuse
this
that
general saying that those other parties don't have structure, you know.
Now-
I'm trying to. Obi said that someone actually taunted Peter Obi and said he doesn't have structure, and he said his structure is Nigerians. Now let's quickly look at it this way. Let's take it to this perspective. Let's take it to this. Let's look at this perspective. In the last 7 years and a few months, some of the things that have actually Nigeria has really been exposed. Our primordial sentiments, have been exposed, especially at ethnicity,
and religion.
disunity, religion, and all that. I don't think there has been ever any time in the history of Nigeria that we were this exposed. Now, the NSAS issue was a convergence of the anger of young Nigerians, and one would have thought that that would be consolidated in 2023. Do you think that our youths are dissipating their energy too much on the social media? Why don't they? You don't think they should convert those energies that is spent on the social media to going to get their PVCs and going to the polls? Because there are some elections, there are some votes, that we call in Yoruba language, Iboloyi, that no one can ever rig, Mr. Baola.
We are trying to give our youth, especially in the south, we are giving them leeway to say reasons why we are not participating. But go to the north. Look at the demography of people that are involved in voting. They are the youths in the north. These people don't have time for the social media that we are used to here. They know, their leaders know what to do. Young men, what is important? Either you are age 5, you are age 12, you are age 7. Make sure you get PVC. There is this allegation that an average youth in the north will have like 3-4 PVCs. Down south here, try and have a convergence of 10 youths, probably 3 of them will have PVC. The remaining 7 will be active on social media.
Without PVC.
Without PVC. So this idea of education is not really the thing. Those who are educated should know why they should participate in this exercise.
Okay, talking about participation and the question being raised by many Nigerians at this stage, who should we vote for? And one of the reasons most of them will say that I'm not going to vote for anybody in this next election because I'm not convinced all the people on the ballot would represent me well. So I don't know, Mr. Folarin, what is it that we should be looking out for at this stage, just so people that are not interested in voting in 2023 will be convinced, maybe I should go out and vote for this particular candidate. What are the ingredients that we should be watching out for in the next election?
Well, first thing they need to know is that bad leaders are best elected by those who refuse to vote. When you don't vote, you have succeeded in electing bad leaders, and hence your right to complain should not even be entertained. Yes, qualities to look out for. I must tell you, well, should we say tested, and one who has been tested and trusted, not on the political field alone, because if we talk about the political field, we could be referring to those who have even used our resources to demonstrate to us that, oh, they are capable, and at the end of the day, we still recycle the same set of people. But there are better qualities. You need to listen to their manifestos. We need to hear them. It should go beyond attacking. It should go beyond smear campaign, attacking each other. The Nigerians must say, come, we want to hear what you have for us. It is not about party A is bad, party B is good. Unfortunately, we don't have we don't even have political. Let me use that word. We don't have political parties with ideologies in the country. We can only we don't have. I would say we don't really have political parties in this country. A situation where the parties lack the party manifestos are not well structured for people to know But
members of APC and PDP will disagree with you. They will say we have websites, and you have only.
Do you even have members of APC? You have members of PDP. *110#. You are APC today. You are PDP tomorrow. They interchange. You talk about interest. It's all about their interest, and it is conspiracy against the masses. The man you see in APC today is the one you see in PDP tomorrow. Can you remember or recall the last time you will say you find a Republican in Democrat tomorrow? Because the party got ideology.
Gentlemen, are we not hitting the wrong point? Simat and I this morning we entertained some calls, and we actually concluded that I think systemically a whole lot of things are wrong with this country. What about our institutions? Does Nigeria have a system of accountability, of sanctioning? I think it's all about, people knowing that I can go to public office and, steal so much and I don't get punished. And I think that's why an average Nigerian will say, okay, you want to go to office and I know that you're going to steal money in office. Just give me a portion of what you're going to steal, and then go. Don't you think that's the point?
And very, very, you are perfectly right. There is no system that checkmates the SSs. As a matter of fact, we even thought, when the government Abeokuta came on board, it was on the platform of anti-corruption. But I must tell you, and through that, many people fell in love that the hope of Nigeria, at least the thieves will be called this and that. But unfortunately, there's more immunity for impunity. I can tell you a situation where an anti-corruption agency will prosecute a matter for 12 years and only for the court thieves to be given amnesty, to be pardoned. I must tell you, I still repeat, it is conspiracy against the people. And when they get to power, it is only the petty thieves that languish in our correctional centers. The big thieves, what those holding the public offices, they are telling us that the higher you steal, the possibility of you getting free from it. So when you see most people who are running for one elected position or the other, ask them, what do you have? What do you have in stock? Even someone who wants to be a legislator will be telling you, I want to erect borehole, I want to do this, I want to do that. You cannot even differentiate or distinguish between.
Isn't that also coming from? Sorry, let's go. So isn't that also coming? Isn't that pressure also coming from the electorate? You know that I am a lawmaker, and it is outside my purview to provide infrastructure. My business is to make law, and you come to me to. You are asking me to provide things for you that are not within my constitutional purview.
Let me use this illustration. This studio we are in is a very beautiful setup. You resume in this office one day and you find everywhere ransacked, dirty, and the likes, and you go back outside complaining. You did not put in any effort. Nobody comes in here to rearrange things. The next day you expect the place to be rearranged for you. You did not put in any effort. See, the system we are talking about, this system is not going to change itself. The institutions we are complaining about will not correct itself, except we, the humans, except we are ready to change these things. Take for instance, we are saying our lawmakers, in 2019, when the likes of Sowore and the likes said they were contesting, I said if Sowore or Feladuro Toye were to become the president of Nigeria in 2019, I am very sure with what we have in Nigeria, in a matter of 6 months, that person will be impeached. Because as a president, you will not work alone. You have 108 or 109 senators to deal with. You have 36 governors to deal with. You have 360 House of Rep members to deal with. You have ministers and the likes to deal with. All these people will have to work together for our educational structure to be rearranged, for our health infrastructures to be put in place, for our anti-corruption agency to be put in place. So if we sit down and we keep complaining that the system is not good enough, the judiciary arm will give judgments, favorable judgments to the highest bidder. If we do not put in that effort to change things, if the people that we believe can change things do not get to the office, it's not going to change.
One thing I have noticed in this election, of course, 2019, we witnessed different experience, and some people will say that we are actually evolving as a country. We're trying our best, even though things are not the way it ought to be, but then we are not where we used to be. So I want you to talk more on this thing that is changing. You talked about no need to attack individuals, just to make the conversation, your campaign, issue-based. And with that, we can scrutinize the candidate far better. I don't know if that would actually help us in this next election, whether the hope of a better Nigeria is going to be fulfilled in 2023 after 2023 election.
We are in an abnormal situation now, and it's as if we need abnormal approach to find solutions to it. There are countries where electorates listen to candidates, listen to their manifesto, and they make their choice, they make their decision at that point in time. But here in Nigeria, nobody listens to manifesto. If you go to a campaign ground, you are only going there to go and see how they will jab themselves. So
I'm saying that now, the smear campaign that is being jettisoned somewhat, when you listen to different people talk about 2023, they specifically say that no attack on this person, personality of this person.
In reality, I
tell me they are, but it is reducing. That's what I'm saying. We still have about 7-8 months to go before the election, and then I'm saying that is that actually something that would help us to really scrutinize if that is the way to go?
It should help us. I said we are in an abnormal situation. It should help us. We listen to an individual. Tell us, what do you have up your sleeves? And how do you intend to achieve these things? But then, I've listened to even well-organized debates where you have the audience clapping for somebody who has said something against a particular candidate, not cogent things that these are the ways I am going to achieve these things. I honestly, I expect and I hope that we'll get back to that stage where we listen to these people and we'll be able to decide from what they say that, oh, this person has something up his sleeves. But the reality on ground is that what we have here today, some days back, I listened to a particular candidate who was saying, there is enough money that I want to share, and people were hailing him. These are not the things we want to listen to. We are not saying go and bring your personal money to come and share. This state is not good when it comes to economic issue, educational issue, health infrastructures. What do you intend to do? How do you intend to? So
those are the questions that we should
be asking
for the hope to be restored.
These are the questions that we should be asking.
Are those not questions that should also be asked internally in those political parties when they have their meetings? Because you see, presidential candidates, governorship candidates, assembly, senatorial, House of Reps don't just emerge. They are also within the parties. They grow within the system. Is it not also the fact that internally the parties are also dirty, somewhat? You don't think so?
Well, you see, if it was to be the way we should have it, virtually, let me say, most of the political parties are screening for their candidates. They had screening for their candidates, right? The presidential candidates, we saw the jamboree when they were going for the screening and they interacted, oh, what do you have to do, what is that? But at the end of the day, does that actually reflect in the outcome of who the flag bearer is? No, it doesn't, and that is where we feel that irrespective of what you even have in mind, there is no fear field, there is no fear platform to say, I have come with ideology. All we want is ideology. All we want to scrutinize is the manifesto. Let the issue of money be a secondary thing. But I must tell you that that is not the situation we find ourselves.
Let me quickly bring this in, because I also like Mr. Vala to contribute to that too. In some of these major political parties have also been accused of having elder statesmen, those who actually formed those parties, now becoming monsters, and picking candidates, saying this man will not go, this man will go, when clearly the man that he says will not go is a better choice for the party, or is someone who will do better in that particular public office. I mean, isn't that also perplexing that we have, elder statesmen who are supposed to know, who call themselves Democrats, but they become monsters in those parties, and they become they are so strong to the extent that their word is law.
You have said it. You have said it perfectly. You are very, very right. They are really becoming monster because when you look at it, who determines what in the political party? Just like the country we are, the document they gave to us that we, the people of Nigeria, agreed that so something, which is a fraudulent document that we kept on amending. So also is the political party who determines what? How did they come even about their delegates? You talk about delegates aside from the other statesmen that would say, oh, this is our choice. In fact, they will also decide who the delegate should queue behind. So the other ones contesting, we know, before the day, they already knew, if I go ahead to contest, I'm expecting 0, expecting 1, or expecting 2. It is still a function of the abnormal situation we have found ourselves, which I must tell you, if we are talking of 2023 and renewing hope or rekindling the hope of the country, we can only be consoling ourselves. Because if the foundation is faulty, you cannot build something on nothing. Maybe so you can only succeed in having you can only succeed in in having the opportunity to choose between among evils, maybe you choose the lesser one.
Between the devil and Satan.
Yes, you can go, because the process that even brought the
devil and the Satan.
Yes. The process that brought them already is fraught with irregularities.
Mr. Babalola, when we look at what happened in 2014, the mergers of the different political parties, and one could actually look at a different, Nigeria, if something like that could happen, maybe not 2023, I don't know if that would be the next, that's 2027, ahead of that. You look at the third force that people talk about. Every time we need, some will say that we need the two political parties to be dazed. They just need something unusual to happen. And if that is going to happen, I don't know if you have words for those forming political parties, encouraging measures, where the political parties from the one dominant in the north, the one dominant in the southeast and south-south, coming together to also show us that it is not just two political parties that will be relevant in this election. We can actually have three political parties where that would drag all others, to delivering good governance for the people.
It's going to be hard because the individuals and the group of people that formed the merger in 2014, which resulted into them taking power in 2015, they knew what they did back then. And if any group of people or political parties are trying to do that now, they know how to throw hammer into that sledge.
So they can neutralize whatever it is.
They will tell you today that, I think INEC was telling us that for 2023 presidential elections, we have 19 political parties that have shown interest, that have candidates now, 19. Out of that 19, go and find out very well, like 15 of them had the backing of either of these two political major parties.
Exactly.
So if anything, don't be surprised, in few days to the election, you just hear a press statement that we have collapsed our structure with APC or with PDP. Because those that did that of 2014 merger, they knew what they did. And when such a thing is coming up again, they know how to tackle it. And there is this law of nature, which either we like it or not, it will always come to play. He who pays the piper dictates the tune. These people are they are the financiers of all the parties. Even the list of the parties, these major politicians are the financiers. So they dictate whatsoever happens there. They tell you who to vote for, who will be their candidates, and who will not be participating. But I just look at a situation where we won't wait until a few months to the general election before we start talking about the third force. Like I said, 2023 is done and dusted.
Exactly.
Immediately after the 2023 election, can we have some serious-minded individuals that will start working against 2027?
2023, some people will say that Labour Party is a third force. Is it not a third force? Well, Obi is not a third force?
Well, for me, I must say I'm seeing a different. I'm seeing it from a different perspective, because either we like it or not, either they accept it or not, I see Obi as another. I see him as another force, and the major political parties are also jittery about that, because this is the first time we are seeing critical stakeholders and even the grassroots listening to.
But some people are also coming up with, they are playing ethnic cards with Obi. They are saying that even people from his own region, from Southeast, are not supporting him.
Well, it is expected. I will tell you the same way other political parties, you have that division from where they come from. Of course. If they are talking of the PDP candidates, I will tell you there are some who feel that, oh, it shouldn't come, it shouldn't come from there. And even there are still divisions where you have the likes of Kwankwaso is still there. NNPP is another force that is coming up from that region. And there are many.
I agree with you.
But the major barrier, the break that they will meet is that the electoral acts we are operating with now does not actually give room for official merger anymore. It will be very, very late. They could come up with a statement that, oh, we are collapsing our structure for this. We want it to work for this. We want it to work for that. But to think that merger will come and it is within.
Does merger make any difference in the long run? Because I don't even see this thing they call structure. I don't even see the structure of an NNPP. You know, I don't see the structure of Labour Party. I only see the structure of PDP and APC, because if you have to go by the common definition of structure, you know, it means you are a party that has presence at the ward level, local government level, and if that's the structure.
You see, when they were contesting their primary election, I had a lot of comments, even from the chairman of the political party, saying, "Oh, we know some aspirants are comedians. They have only come to express themselves to do this, and some will come with different intentions. The intention of some of these political parties may just be to have a state to them, may just be to have a state among the all 36 states to them to say, oh, we are controlling. Some of them may feel that they can end up succeeding in having some senatorial seats, like we had in the case of was it not Anambra, where we had the YPP coming, and is it Andy Uba or one Uba coming through that platform to the Senate. So some of them may end up having that, but to roll out Obi, it is within Obi's right to say, I want to contest. I have what it takes. And the people are really listening to him.
Okay. I think it depends on who.
When I say the people, he's really telling you,
maybe we are forgetting. I stand to be corrected. Showore made more noise in 2019, more than Obi.
Mr. Babalola, let's also ask ourselves this question. Are we learning at all? In 2014, 2015, we saw what the campaign, what they were telling us then, change, and of course the person of the president, the qualities that he possesses. He's a trustworthy person, he has integrity, he doesn't steal, he won't steal your money. And now we're also having the same problem. Nigerians are expecting somebody that will not steal their money to be in charge. Is that enough quality to look out for in who becomes the president?
Simiat, we are learning. But what we learned is what we have to question. Build up to the 1979 election, they were talking about education, talking about economy, talking about health, infrastructures. Has anything changed now? Now, what we have learned is how to buy and sell votes. We are getting more experts in that line. In 2019, the amount that delegates got were not, I don't think it was up to $15,000-$20,000.
Things are expensive now, actually.
So we are learning.
Inflation has set in.
We are learning. Inflation has set in.
They are considering that as well.
Now, the Ekiti election we had, the 2019 election, because of the role of EFCC and the Electoral Act, anybody caught will be dealt with. In Ekiti, on Saturday, they had means of getting that pay without anybody catching somebody. We are learning. But then, the positive things that we are supposed to learn. If you are coming on board that I want to do this, how do you intend to do it? What have you done?
That should be our focus.
That should be our focus in this election. Unfortunately, I even don't agree to when people will say government has no business in business. If you are a businessman, You can run your own business and make good profit. We need people like that in government. So that you
run the affairs
of the government and make profit, or make the people to be happy. Not somebody that has not worked in his entire life, just come into administration and the money just start rolling in. He doesn't know how to generate, to maximize all this.
Gentlemen,
these are some of the things I think we should be looking at now.
Can we also look at the influence of the international world, you know, on Nigeria, on Nigerian elections? I want to cast our minds back to 1993, June 12 election, when MK Abiola was campaigning. Abiola campaigned against. He said he was going to get reparation. Abiola campaigned and he said he was going to publish daily the amount of crude oil, you know, on a daily basis. Abiola spoke about taxation. He said there was no point taxing an empty pocket. Those comments offended some people. Those comments
outside the shores of the country,
inside and outside, those who wanted the status quo to remain. Now, you don't think if anybody is talking about making those revolutionary changes in 2023, if he becomes president, don't you think such a person will also be stopped by local cabals or international cabals? Nigeria is a very big market. Nigeria is a very influential country, and so certainly you will expect that you know, there will be influences, you know, from across the world.
Yeah, thank you very much. You say no big nation. I'm saying no big nation will toy with Nigeria. You talk about America, talk about the UK, talk about even China. No big nation will toy with Nigeria, and that's why nations. And that's why you see them. If the diplomatic groups, even proud this time, they were visiting the political party candidates to know that if eventually it falls on your table, what are those things? You know, we got that. I knew America, UK, and the likes, and they will all have interest in the country, because Nigerians are also part of those that are building their country. I must tell you, so they must have interest. And they're talking about even the IMF of a thing. You know, they tell you they have a way. They have a way of determining what in this country. But at the same time, international diplomacy matters a lot. In as much as you are telling the local, the grassroots what you have in stock, that aspect of diplomacy must also set in. What is the assurance that our investment in your country will also not be at risk? Most countries have invested in, they are investing in Nigeria. You talk about China, you talk about, would they have loans we have been getting, and we have many places where our ancestors, don't forget, some of our ancestors are still paying us. So when you are repatriating those money, they want to be sure that they will not be reduced. So there are so many
So it's a risk, talking tough.
Yeah, it is.
A big risk.
It is a right to talk tough. It is a right to tell the people what your intentions are. And at the same time, I want to commend the president for one thing. At the point I read that he was advising, which is a usual thing actually, that the international community should not intervene. They should stay away in the process. When he was coming on board, they actually stayed away. This is just.
Let's also look at Nigeria in the context of Africa. The 2023 election, some have said that it will determine a lot in the other African countries. And if Nigeria is not getting it right, it means that a lot of African countries would also not get it right. I don't know if there's something that you think that the international community on the African continent rather can do to make Nigeria see reasons why we should get it right in 2023.
They have roles to play, but you see, whichever role they want to, the international community will play, will have to be in active connivance with the locals, with people here. Like Mr. Folarin said, yes, these countries could feel threatened. Not only the ones that have business interests in Nigeria, even our neighbors knows that if anything happens in the country, West Africa is not enough to contain Nigeria. They know. They know. And like our next door neighbors, a couple of countries that are our next door neighbors, they know what the benefits from this country. Despite the fact that we close our borders today and tomorrow, they know what the benefits. So they too, they have interest in Nigeria being good. But then, if we are to have a president that will stop smuggling, do you expect that a country that benefits from smuggling into Nigeria will be happy? So they have
So
things to do.
we have this balance of the old forces. You know, anytime we try to move, so many people are holding us.
Of course, you see that
And,
even the U.S. Election, at a point Nigerians were following as if we want to replace Buhari. But then it goes to show that Nigeria is an important country in the world setting, no doubt about that. But then whatsoever these international communities will want to bring in will have to be in connivance with people here. That is one. Two, whatsoever policy you have as a candidate that you want to push, there are stages. They call it a way of telling lies. They call it diplomacy. That is for me. They call it diplomacy. Rather than saying, I'm going to deal with these countries. If the diplomats from that particular country meet a candidate, the candidate will not say, oh, you have been shortchanging my country. If I get into office, I'm going to deal with that. No. There is a way he will tell them lies. They call it diplomacy. That, oh, when I get to office, these are the things I'm going to do. We'll partner to correct this, to correct that. But deep inside him, he knows what he's saying. So all these things, whichever candidate these diplomats meet, whichever candidates these foreign countries talk to, they have their plans.
Can Nigeria ever have that kind of president? Thomas Sankara, we know how he died. Gaddafi, you know, these were tough talking presidents, you know, who opposed the West, you know, in their thoughts and in their actions.
Were they speaking like that before they got to office?
No, but even in actions when they got to office, can any Nigerian president actually act like that in office?
We can, but that person will have to assume office first.
Okay, let's be specific now. I'm coming to you now. Let's be specific now. We have Tinubu. There is Atiku. Tinubu, former governor of Lagos State.
Peter Obi, please.
I'm trying to characterize them first and foremost. Tinubu, former governor of Lagos State, is believed to own Lagos State. You know, Atiku, you know, someone said he lives in Dubai. He comes around whenever he wants to be president. You know, Obi,
we are jokers.
Obi, the middle of the road.
Maybe he's trying to become a pharaoh now, or an Egyptian now.
Kwakwanso, also neither are not there. Does any one of them possess those qualities of getting to office and making those dramatic changes?
That question is actually, you see, it is maybe you are expecting that question to be diplomatically answered.
Yes,
because you want to talk of a product, the product through which the process through which they got to where the status they are now. I must tell you, it may be difficult. I always remember Gaddafi. There was a particular one Gaddafi made. Gaddafi told the West that come, my people will not find any reason to come to your country. They will not make your country a home. They will, and despite that, they saw Gaddafi as a dictator. And truly, the Libyans, I could not recall a time they said Libyans were queuing or even applying for visa to go to America or to go to the UK. But in the case of Nigeria, we have even used our future to borrow from all this Western world. So for any of the candidates to come up, even in their various states that those you have mentioned, in their various states they come from, when they were leading the state, Have they had one thing or the other to do with this Western world or not? Have they had one dirty deal or not with them? So it may be difficult for any of them. Let me use that word, any of them. Atiku was the vice president of Obasanjo, and what happened after Obasanjo discovered some certain things? He felt that
another interesting point.
I'm sorry. I am interested in that particular question. I'm sorry, please. For me,
Yes.
either Tinubu or Atiku should be able to confront the West.
Ordinarily.
Tinubu, when he was governor of Lagos State was expecting favors from the federal purse. And there was a problem. He went on his own. And today, we all know what Lagos benefited from that singular action he took. So if he is to repeat the same thing against the West, with what he did back then, I believe he should be able. Now, Atiku too, he had the effrontery to confront his boss, to confront somebody that no Nigerian then ordinarily will want to have problem with. I think if these people, these two individuals, if they are serious and the interest of Nigerians comes first to them, they should be able to confront.
On the issue of Atiku, sincerely, I may disagree with you that he confronted Obasanjo over what? What Obasanjo was feeling is that you have served with me. I could see that he came out openly that this is a corrupt man that should not be voted. He even came with some analysis.
But he also came thereafter.
I don't want us to say Atiku. We can't prove that.
No, I'm just trying to refer to their words.
Okay.
So calling that an infantry that he had the effrontery to challenge. He didn't challenge on the interest of Nigeria.
Let's look at what what people described as the kind of leader that actually would be able to represent the people well. You are in the human rights industry. I don't know if that, of course, is not going to hinder. Some have said that you need a competent dictator to rule Nigeria for us to adjust. To be, you just need somebody to force us to be on the queue, just so we could get the desired, desired results that we've all been clamoring for. I don't know if that is still the case in your own case as a human rights activist that you preach a lot. You mentioned Gaddafi earlier.
Yes.
You could know how he denied his people certain things in his country as well. Yes. So, and he was able to do a lot of things for his people. I don't know if being a competent dictator would actually work in this kind of democracy we're practicing now.
Well, sincerely, the worst democracy will forever be better than any form of military rule.
I'm not saying military.
Any form of dictatorship. But yet, we need someone who is determined, who has seen it here and there, who can analyze and who have the competency to actually provide solution to those problems. The person must be so determined, and that was what some of us found, and we felt the incumbent president talking about when he was president that is coming, and when they came in with the anti-corruption force, we talked the whole thing will continue that way. Okay. So we still need someone who will be so resolute.
Will you not disturb them with violations of
Obviously, that is not to say that it is not to say that they must trample on people's rights. What do you need to do? Give them good governance, make them.
As far as fuel is concerned, the queues are back. Diesel is becoming gold. Cooking gas. Yesterday I was chased by my wife. Cooking gas has gone up, and
Father's Day and
all that. So, but our guest is not here yet, and so we might just have to push this a little bit further and perhaps take your calls too. But let's take this break so that we can actually sip some tea and then come back shortly. Stay with us. All right, 2023 general elections and the hope of a new Nigeria is what we've been looking at. And in the studios, we have with us Mr. Abeokuta, a public affairs analyst, and Comrade Yinka Folari is the National Secretary of Committee for the Defense of Human Rights. We will be taking a few calls if they come. We want our viewers to also, ventilate their views on this matter. But before we do that, let's leave the presidents. Let's come down to the states. It doesn't also worry you that for everything that happens in Akpata, in Ibadan, the residents in Akpata will blame Buhari, will not blame Makinde. Or for everything that happens in Isalegbeyi, they will not say, oh, Dapa Abiodun, they will blame Buhari. Is that not also an issue, about governance? There is so much pressure on the president, on the federal government, Now that has actually led to the issue of a dissolution of power. Now, if that is not done, when 2023 comes, are we not going to remain on the same spot?
Yeah, thank you. You say it is happening that way because of the feeding bottle style of government we are practicing, where everyone must go and milk from the federal feeding bottle. And you see, even the state governors will tell you, oh, the allocation has dropped, and as such, the salary and not every other thing, whatever affect the macro will affect the micro. There have not been enough avenue for them to actually think outside the box. And because of that practice, they will now hide under that. But to tell the people that come, you don't need to even scrutinize us on what we generate internally, because what we are getting is not coming up. And the local government that's supposed to be charged with some of these, started with some of these responsibility. There are, for infrastructure, for instance, there are roads that belongs to the local government. There are some that belongs to the state government. There are some that belongs to the federal government. But will you expect any local government chairman to come and tie your road?
But will you blame the governors? If you go back to the Constitution, there are some areas of the Constitution that the governors have been disempowered. For instance, state governments are not in charge of electricity generation. State governments are not in charge of what else? Defense. Insecurity. Amotekun it's not flying high in Southwest. There are still issues and all that. So why we blame the governors?
Beyond the electricity, beyond the security, even security, I would say, is expected to be a joint responsibilities. Though they will say it is not, it is in the exclusive list or this or that. But every state government knows quite right that the primary responsibility of government is to protect the lives of its own citizens and to make governance good for them. You see, that is why for us in the civil society, we have been clamoring that there should be restructuring. And unfortunately, the incumbent administration at the federal level, it was part of the agreement with the people when they were coming on board in 2015 that we are going to restructure this country. Immediately they came into power, we gave them 2 years. After that, we started telling them that we need to restructure this country. Where we are presently, we cannot move from here unless there's a devolution of power, unless we decentralize all of this that the federal government is doing, that we cannot move forward. But unfortunately, including some state governors are telling us, oh, restructuring means different into different people. And as such, the whole thing, they keep attacking us. They keep
Okay, let's also look beyond 2023. Let's look at the kind of challenges we are confronted with at this stage. A lot of people are saying that yes, we can sustain the current system, and the elites are also in the know when it comes to what the country is turning into, the level of division You talk about ethnicity line, you talk about religious wise, and of course you want to ask yourself questions. Do we really think that we should be talking to the political class or the followers of this political class at this stage, just so we could have something better?
We need to talk to the political class.
And what should we be telling them?
Good. Why we need to be talking to the political class is that it's like they deliberately push poverty into the system. There was a day I was going out on a Sunday morning and I saw a particular governor's entourage with 13 jeeps in his entourage, other Hilux vans, press crew and the likes. I now started thinking that this is a state where we have schools, secondary schools that has just 3 or 4 teachers. The number of people that is in that governor's entourage, why can't you redeploy them? No, I'm serious.
To the classrooms.
To the classrooms.
That's serious.
No. See, why do we have to spend that much on these people? Why we need hands in other places? Last 2 weeks or thereabouts, when the Owo massacre happened, the police in Owo is a town that I know very well, that you can drive around the town within 15-20 minutes. They said the operation lasted over 30 minutes and no police officer was able to get there. And the police were saying they do not have vehicles. When the governor came, look at the number of vehicles in his entourage. These are things that we need to be talking to these people about.
That's why some people will say that if
the state is secured, the governor will not need that number of personnel in his entourage. So go back and do the right thing in your state.
But the government is not responsible to the Nigerian police.
He is not responsible to the Nigerian police. When was the last time Amotekun was funded? Last year when this issue of Amotekun came up, the southwestern states, they came up with Amotekun and we saw uniform with soft fuel vehicles. Today, ask them, are they funding that outfit?
So are we saying that
but that's also the albatross of the constitution, you know, Simia, the southwest states, have they been given the nod to go ahead?
You are waiting for the nod.
Yeah.
When they have started the operation.
Constitutionally, I'm just...
See, Malami went to court saying that the southwest states or the southern states don't have the right to have their own security outfit. I ask you, has any Amotekun been apprehended for doing that job? What they are saying is that they cannot carry firearms, but they know how they are operating. Why are they calling back Amotekun in Ondo State? The Amotekun, that's also, see, my brother, they use these people for their own selfish. You can imagine Amotekun officials in Oyo State being found in Ondo State during election, Ondo State election, Osun State election.
So is that one of the reasons Mr. President was talking about not giving so much power to the state?
I am not talking about giving this power. The little power they have, what have they done with it?
You see, I will, even on the issue of the Amotekun and the likes, I will say it is all about seriousness. You see, even the blind can feel it that the Nigeria police is underfunded, is under-equipped, and they don't have enough personnel. And to say that because the federal government did not give, Amotekun is not just operating because they want to operate. They are backed up by laws, even in their own state. In our own case here, we don't even have only Amotekun in Ogun State, for example. We have the state that has also been there before Amotekun, and the government made it clear when it was during the launch of Amotekun that other security agencies, they are to work hand in hand. And when you look at the laws that establish Amotekun, that establish...
But when you look at when you look at the gravity of crime that we're seeing these days, do you think Amotekun, if Amotekun is not armed, is not given the approval to be armed, can they face the sophistication of the crime?
Let me tell you the bitter truth. And if the Nigeria Police Force and other security agencies will be very truthful to accept this, most of their operations are not coming out successfully without the collaboration of the local security outfit. You want to talk of what SoSafe has been doing? They are the ones that they even move at the forefront to move, even the hunters. They partner with them to get all these criminal elements. How many officers do we have in the Nigeria Police Force? How many officers do we have in there? What we are saying is that our state governors should even empower these outfits the more. For instance, I'm not sure SoSafe has more than 1 or 2 vehicles in the entire Ogun State. I'm not sure Amotekun have more than 5 or 6.
We have Joshua. We have Joshua from Lagos. Joshua, you're lucky you could just be our only caller on this segment of the program. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Joshua.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling. Joshua, you can go ahead.
I want to ask a question. Somebody is saying that the governor is not responsible for police. What of the money? Quickly, what further come and they give state governor every month? Where is the money going?
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Joshua from Lagos.
Security votes, right? They give the state government. Where the money is going?
Okay, Mr. Joshua, don't mind me. I'm sorry. I was the one that said that too. I'm sorry, Mr. Joshua. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. That's our last. That's the only call we'll take.
Sorry, sir. Another point. The question he raised is very jamming. I remember the time. I remember one of the interviews they had with Rochas Okorocha, the former governor of Imo State, on Channels TV. He came out boldly to say, Imo State is owing me 8 billion naira, part of my security vote. Now, and it's not for 8 years. If 8 billion was part of the security vote, you see, we cannot continue to deceive ourselves in the country, saying that the security is in the hands of the federal government.
So I have just challenged. We have to change so that the country would.
We must empower our local security outfit. Amotekun, let us clear this. Amotekun is so safe. They are empowered under the law,
the state law,
to carry arms and ammunition, and they are just to do this in line with the with the act.
Extant laws.
With the extant laws.
Let's close. We have just a minute. Mr. Abaola, I want you to actually wrap things up. Now, let's look at the field again. I'm going back to Atiku, Tinubu, Kwakwanso, and Obi. Because this has to be engineered by somebody from the top. This that we're talking about. You know, it's not just about the state governors. Somebody has to engineer it from the top. You know, in this field, who do you think? I want you to raise the hope of Nigerians. I don't want you to dash the hope of Nigerians as we close.
Well,
tough question.
It's a tough question. It's a tough question, but I will put it this way. For me, it's a bottom-top solution, not top-bottom solution.
Bottom-top.
It's bottom-top solution.
There's a lot.
There is a lot we need to do down here. If we do not do it, the people up there will continue to take us for granted.
Bottom-top solution. I think I agree with you. That's a wise one, and that's a wise way of ending this program this morning. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. We thought it to be 1 hour. We have taken you over an hour.
When we are talking about Nigerian issues, you can take hours and you won't know that.
And you will just say, wait, let us push it aside.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abaola, for coming on this program. Thank you so much. Comrade Yinka Folani, you got explosive in the last 5 minutes of the program. I think we are. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Simiat, okay, we'll come back next Monday, isn't it? Or would you be here?
We don't know yet.
Okay, that's the program this morning, New Dawn on Ogtv. We hope you have enjoyed today's show. It's been a very hot one, and we have tried to x-ray Nigeria in just 1.5 hours, but that's quite insignificant because Nigeria's issues are so enormous that trash it out, trash them out in one day, let alone 1.5 hours. But we thank you so much for watching us. We'll catch you again next Monday. Don't forget our colleagues will be here tomorrow for the Yoruba version of the program or Tojo. Thanks so much for watching us. Have a great, great Monday.